I say don't sit naked on the benches in the locker room. Why, why don't sit naked? Hello, everyone. Um, Out here in my little archery shop today, but what I was wanting to talk about was something been on my mind for, well, I guess since the first of the year, since New Year's. But I guess you could, if I titled the name of this video, it would be the don'ts of the gym. And so I just wanted to go over some of the things I would advise people not to do in the gym. And why I'm doing that is because every year, as all of us people that's been going to gym consistently for years know about the New Year's rush, and the people that come in that they've made their New Year's resolutions that they're gonna get in shape or lose weight or gain muscle or whatever, but they come in the gym and it's kind of like the inside joke that we dread the new people coming in, but just hold tight that it's only going to last for a couple of months and they'll lose steam and everything will go back to normal. They'll go away and the gym will be back to normal. But this year I noticed it didn't seem like that even happened, and it may have been, so I asked several people like why they think that it just seemed like there wasn't any new people in the gym. And it may have been because that, everybody, a lot of people was sick. That could have been it. But what I've noticed over the years, in the 22 years that I have been going to different gyms, no matter if it is different gyms, the same thing happens over and over. The first couple of months, it was usually so crowded you can't even move in there, and it's filled with a lot of people that don't know gym etiquette, I guess you would call it. And really the only thing that has changed is that from 20 years ago, 10 years ago, that 2 months has whittled down to about 2 weeks that you'll see people. That's about as long as they last. And though being that people may think that the resident gym goers are glad these people are gone, well, really not. It's kind of, you want to see people stay. It's it's kind of sad to see them go, so you want to see them stay. Like to see people make positive changes in their life. It's inspiration to us that has been at it forever and see making drastic changes difficult. After you've done it for so long, the new gains, newbie gains they call it, are over with. So just to know that we do get inspired by new people coming in and seeing them make positive changes. But my theory is of why people, maybe the new people that come into the gym, why they don't last. It may be that they just don't have the discipline, but then yet again, it may be that the gym is an intimidating place because they don't know what to do. They don't know, and they might do something wrong, and maybe somebody in there that has been at it for 5 or 10 years that knows things, like how to behave in a gym. Maybe they mean mug them or give them the dirty look. It's basically about the work. that's about the worst you're going to get from somebody in the gym anyhow. Nobody's really going to say anything. Uh, the mean mugging, you know, ugly face, that's typically the go-to. Um, I disagree with what you're doing kind of thing you'll get from, you know, somebody in the gym. But instead of just going at it and not knowing what to do, maybe I thought, well, maybe I could make a list of so people can know the things that, um, you know, that does aggravate people in the gym so they don't make that mistake in the first place. You know, would have made a list of do's and don'ts, but I feel like the do's is kind of like, you know, would be me telling somebody what to do, which it doesn't affect anybody else. You know, things to do doesn't affect anybody else. So just I say, you know, if they want to do it and it's not bothering anybody else, then you've got the choice to do it. But the list I made of things that I feel like might aggravate other people, like I said. So I made a list, and the first one on the list, I said, do not stand in front of the dumbbell rack. Now, this is something I see people that have, obviously, because you can look at their body and tell that they've been working out for a number of years. This is something I see people that have been working out for a while do all the time. And they'll walk up to a dumbbell rack, grab a set of dumbbells, and stand there 6 inches from the dumbbell rack and do shrugs, or they'll do 30 curls or whatever, or you know, side laterals or whatever, and then put the dumbbells back. What this does is it not only, you know, they're taking up the dumbbells that they're using, but now while they're standing there, they're taking up the dumbbells to the left, to the right of that set. They're taking up the dumbbells to the left of that set. They're taking up the lower rack of dumbbells in front of them. They're taking up the lower rack to the right and the lower rack to the left. So essentially they're taking up 6 sets of dumbbells when really all they need to do, or anybody needs to do, is grab the dumbbells they're going to use, take 2 big steps back so people can get in and use the other dumbbells instead of having to, you know, you're taking up all these dumbbells. But that is kind of something not only me, I've talked to other people, and aggravates them to death when people does that. Number 2, I say, don't take up several pieces of equipment. You know, you'll have people, you know, you just assume a piece of equipment, somebody's not on it, they're not using it, because people leave weights and benches and everything at equipment. You know, a bench at a Smith machine, or it loaded to the gills, or a leg press loaded to the gills. People leave that all the time. So you just, if somebody's not on it, you assume they're not using it. But then you'll have the people that they're using that, and then they're going over to lat pull downs, and then they're going over and they're doing bench press, and you start to unload it, and they'll seem like you should have known better that they was using 3 pieces of equipment at once. I'm not against anybody doing that, other than if they're in the gym, you know, you're sharing the gym with other people. So, you know, if you're at home or whatever, you're only person in there, that's fine. But I don't feel like it's, you know, fair to everybody else for you to just be like, the gym is yours, everybody else is just kind of borrowing it, kind of thing. So I would say don't do that. The number 3, I would say I had it as number 4, but I'd say the number 3 is don't leave weights on gym equipment. I mean, specifically, you know, it's not somebody else's job to unrack all of your weights. And specifically, the 45-pound plates. I witnessed just the other day, or twice now. I mean, probably 100 times since I've been going to the gym, but just recently I've witnessed, some dude left three 45-pound plates on the Smith machine, and he's like 6'4", and this girl that was like 5 foot, 100 pounds, was basically doing this, trying to pull the 45-pound plates off of the bar, which, 45 pounds, for me to do that is not that big a deal. But for a 100-pound, girl, that is, it's not only tough, it's really dangerous. And, I mean, if she drops that on her foot, it's game over for her foot. It's squashed flat. And had this older lady she's really small. She's probably under 5 foot. Come to me and asked if I could remove some of the weights because some guy had left, or whatever, might have been some beefy woman, I don't know, but had left the 45-pound plates on the equipment, and she was just not physically able to take those off. So I'd say don't leave those on because it's easy for you and you think, well, some other guy can do it. Some other guy can do it, but not everybody is of your same strength or stature in the gym. Like I say, it has to be, it's shared. So the next one I would say is don't drop the dumbbells, the barbells, or the weight stacks. And there's something you'll see all the time with why not to drop the dumbbells? Well, for main reason, it bends them when they come down, and all this weight, the bottom weight hits the floor, the top weight is coming down behind it, and it bends the handle on them. I mean, specifically with the heavy dumbbells. And then now you're trying to, do presses or whatever, or curls with this U-shaped handle. So when you twist it, when you curl it, it's twisting your wrist. It's trying to, which is very prone to come out of your hand when you do this, when all of a sudden you lift it up and now this thing is trying to twist in your hands, this 100 pounds, 110 pounds, whatever. But you'll see. So I mean, it destroys the equipment. It destroys the dumbbells, and so it bends them. Not only that, when people drop them, I've seen them tumble and go out from people, which could definitely break somebody's ankle, land on their foot, whatever. That much weight tumbling. But I've seen them do it with the 30-pound dumbbells. I think it's a whole, I think it might be some like leftover gorilla stuff, just slamming, throwing, kind of a little bit of primate of, the gorilla that's angry or is trying to be tough. So he picks up rocks, he uproots grass and throws it and all that stuff. But I mean, I assume that's where it's coming from. But the other, I would say the barbells, the same thing. Drop the barbells on the ground, it bends the bar. It's anymore, it is hard to find a straight barbell in a gym. And then again, that's the other thing. It's doing the same thing as the dumbbells, twisting in your hand. So they have rubber weights specifically for that. It's like Olympic, I don't know what they call them, bumper weights or something, but they're designed so you can drop them and it doesn't bend the bar all the way. The weight stacks also, I've seen so many people, they'll be doing like a lat pull down, and when they let it go, they'll drop the weight stack, which is so loud it almost, I mean, sometimes makes me about jump 2 feet in the air when I'm not expecting it. But I don't understand the whole, what's the reason of doing this, but But dropping those weight stacks, that they are typically, the majority of them are cast iron or cast metal of some sort, and dropping those stacks breaks them a lot of times. It will crack them. They will crack. It's like a pot metal type stuff, and it just cannot withstand that. So I say other people are, wanting to use this stuff, and they cannot use it if it's bent and broke. And I don't feel like if you're dropping the weight, you're not really lifting the weight. I mean, to me, when I hear the weight crash, it just lets me know that that person's not strong enough to control it. To say that you're actually lifting the weight when you have to drop the weight at the end and slam it down, to me is saying this, that you can fly an airplane, except you crash it on every landing, you crash it. So what's the difference? Can you really say you fly an airplane? So I'll say, don't be using equipment as a seat to rest on. I mean, this is a common thing. A lot of people will take up equipment, 2 minutes of actually using it, 10 minutes of sitting on it, scrolling on their cell phone, which I could go on and on about the cell phone. It drives me insane. At any one time, you can see 9 out of 10 people hunched over in this S-looking, hunched over, head almost in their lap, a position that doesn't even seem physically possible, but scrolling on their cell phone the majority of time. I mean, it's kind of weird when you just kind of scour the landscape of the gym and you see the number of people just mindlessly. I don't get it, but anyhow, a lot of people they're already intimidated by the other gym goers, and they're likely wanting to use that equipment, but too intimidated to even ask, if when you're sitting on it, are you using this? They'll just go on and do something else. I mean, most people, you make eye contact with them, they'll look up like, I'm just looking at that nothing on the ceiling. So they sure ain't gonna ask you, are you using this equipment? So I say don't use them just as seats. Next one is don't block the mirror in front of someone working out. Seems like it should be common sense, but the mirrors are there, not for posing, not for selfie taking, but so you can watch yourself to make sure form is right. Specifically, if you're just starting in a gym, it's just starting an exercise program, you don't know what proper form feels like, so you have to watch yourself to make sure you are, doing it right. And for somebody to just step right in front of, sometimes you have to walk past the mirror, but if all possible, you can always walk around somebody if they're right in the middle of an exercise, working out. And that's pretty much it for the inside of the gym. And I just wanted to add 2 other things that, where I've talked to other people and it frustrates them. And I think people are doing it without really knowing they're doing something bad. But I say don't sit naked on the benches in the locker room. Why don't sit naked? It's because somebody does not, specifically me, I don't want to come behind you and not knowing you've been doing that, which I see people doing this a lot, just hanging out naked. But you want to hang out naked, talk to everybody naked, okay, that's your thing. But sitting on the bench naked to where, you know, your sweaty sack and butthole is kissing the bench, you know, your naked butthole, to where I have to, now I'm going to come over and sit in that uh, sack sweat butthole, good, you know, God knows what, you know, with my clothes or whatever. I don't want to be sitting in that. So I say if you're going to sit around on the bench naked, at least put a towel over it. But I definitely see people bare butt naked on the bare bench a lot. And then the other is, you know, the those that hang out in the locker room naked, they will be leaning up against the sink naked with their, you know, their pubic mound, I guess you would say, hanging over the edge of the bench, you know, to where other people are going to have, now their nakedness is again leaving God knows what on that same ledge of that countertop, that somebody, unbeknown that you have done that ahead of time, is going to come in there and lean up against it with their clean clothes. And now they're wondering why they're got, you know, who knows what on their clothes. So I say do that. I mean, I could go on and on about a lot of don'ts, but they would just be recommendations of, it really doesn't bother anybody else. So I'll leave those out. But those are the things I would think that if a person knew ahead of time not to do and didn't do them, it would make their transition to being you know, a gym resident a lot less painless, and it'd be a lot less intimidating to them, because they would already be you know, have good gym etiquette, however you say that, on day one, and you know, maybe more likely to continue on and reach their goals. So that's it for now. Thank you.